I bought a house without telling my parents when I was on a business trip. A neighbor called me. There are some people in your house. I checked the security cameras and found my family at a secret party. So I called the police. My name is Rowena. I'm 32 and I work as a sales rep for this big company. I travel all the time for work, like, constantly. I've been living in this rented apartment for years now, and I'm so sick of it. The walls are thin as paper, and my neighbors are loud as hell. I can hear them fighting, their TV blasting, kids screaming. It never stops. When I come back from these exhausting business trips, all I want is some peace and quiet. But instead I get a headache from all the noise. I've been saving money for a while now, and I finally decided, I'm done with this. I want my own house, not some fancy mansion or anything. Just a normal house with a yard where I can actually relax. So I called my friend Mike, who's a realtor. Hey, Mike, I need you to find me a house. I told him over the phone about time. What are you looking for? Medium-sized. Nothing too big, but I want it away from busy roads and highways. I need a big yard and good neighbors who won't drive me crazy. Got it. Give me some time to look around. I'll call you when I find some options. While Mike was doing his thing, I decided to visit my parents. I know. I should visit them more often. But with all the traveling, it's hard to find time. They live in a small house across town. And honestly, I always feel guilty about not coming by enough. When I got to their place, I saw my sister Janet's car in the driveway. Of course she was there. Janet is 2 years older than me, 34. And she's always at our parents' house. She's married to this guy Rob. And they have 2 kids, Tommy, who's 6, and little Sarah, who's 4. Janet doesn't work, so she brings the kids to mom and dad's house all the time. Our parents basically helped raise those kids. I walked in and found the whole family in the living room. Tommy was running around with his toy car, making engine noises while Sarah was coloring on the coffee table. Janet was on the couch looking tired. Rob was scrolling through his phone and Mom was in the kitchen finishing dinner. We all sat down for dinner and as usual, the whole conversation was about Janet and her kids. Mom was going on about how smart Tommy is, how he's reading already. Dad was making jokes with Sarah, getting her to giggle. Janet was complaining about how expensive everything is, getting groceries, clothes for the kids, you name it. I was sitting there eating my mashed potatoes, trying to find a moment to jump into the conversation. Finally, there was a little pause when Tommy knocked over his juice cup and everyone was dealing with that mess. Actually, I have some news too. I said, I'm planning to buy a house. The whole table went quiet, like dead silent. Tommy was still making a fuss about his spilled juice, but everyone else just stared at me. I thought they'd be happy for me. You know, Mike, that's great. Rowena, or congratulations. But instead, they all looked. I don't know how to describe it. Unhappy? Annoyed. Janet's face was the worst. She was looking at me with this expression I'd never seen before. It was like she was angry and jealous at the same time. Then Mom put down her fork and said, a house, Rowena. You don't need a house. You're traveling all the time anyway. What's the point? You can just keep renting. I was confused. What do you mean? I don't need a house. Everyone needs their own place. Janet jumped in immediately. I need a house way more than you do. I have kids, Rowena. Kids need space to play their own rooms. You're just one person who's never even home. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Janet. What are you talking about? I'm saying your future house should be mine. I deserve it more. I have a family. I looked around the table waiting for someone to tell Janet she was being ridiculous. But Dad nodded like she was making sense. Rob nodded, too. Even Mom was agreeing with her. She's right, Rowena, Dad said in the stern voice he used when we were kids and in trouble. You don't have a family. You don't have children. You work all the time. And can't even keep a boyfriend long enough to settle down. Janet needs that house more than you do. I felt like I was in some kind of crazy dream. Are you all serious right now? I'm buying this house with my own money that I earned. Family should help. Family. Mom said like that. Explained everything. Janet struggling with 2 young children. I'm not giving my house to anyone. I said, my voice getting louder. I've worked hard for this. I saved up for years. This is my dream. And I'm making it happen for me. Dad's face got red. You're being selfish, Rowena. You live alone. You have no responsibilities except work. You can live perfectly fine in that apartment. I think you've all lost your minds. I said, standing up from the table. This is crazy. I went to the guest room where I'd left my purse. An overnight bag. I could hear them all talking loudly in the dining room. Probably about what a terrible person I am. I grabbed my stuff and headed for the door. Rowena, where are you going? Mom called after me. We're not done talking about this. Yes, we are. I said without turning around. I'm done with this conversation. Don't you dare walk out on us. Janet yelled, we're your family. But I was already out the door and getting in my car. I could hear them shouting from inside the house, but I didn't care. I drove straight home to my noisy apartment, shaking the whole way. When I got home, my phone was already buzzing like crazy. Missed calls from Mom, Dad, and Janet. I ignored them all and went straight to bed. But I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept hearing Dad's voice saying I didn't deserve a house because I don't have kids. The next morning, I had a bunch of text messages waiting for me. Mom wrote, "Rowena, you're being selfish and cruel. Family helps family. Janet needs that house for her children." Dad's message was shorter. "Call us back. We need to talk about this properly." But Janet's messages were the worst. She sent, like, 10 of them, all saying basically the same thing. That I was heartless, that I didn't care about my nephews, that I should be ashamed of myself for not helping her get a house. I deleted all the messages without responding. I had work to focus on anyway. I was leaving for another business trip in a few days and I had reports to finish. 2 weeks passed and I didn't hear from my family again. Good. I was starting to feel normal again when Mike called me Rowena. "I found something perfect for you," he said, sounding excited. "It's a 3-bedroom house with a big backyard, quiet street, great neighbors. The owners are moving out of state and they want to sell fast. It's got everything you wanted away from main roads, big yard with mature trees, nice neighborhood. And here's the best part. They're leaving all the furniture. Good quality stuff, too." That Saturday, Mike picked me up and drove me to the house. As soon as I saw it, I knew this was it. It was perfect. Not too big. Not too small. With white siding and a red front door. The yard was huge with beautiful old oak trees. When we went inside, I loved it even more. The furniture was really nice. Way better than anything I could afford to buy. New. The kitchen had granite counters. The living room had this comfortable couch and matching chairs, and the bedrooms were spacious and bright. The neighbors on both sides are great. Mike told me as we walked through, Mrs. Henderson. On the left is the sweet elderly lady who's lived here for 20 years. The family on the right has teenage kids who are very respectful. What are they asking for it? Mike told me the price and it was exactly in my budget. I could put down a good down payment and still have money left over for emergencies. "I want to make an offer," I said immediately. The owners accepted my offer that same day. Within 3 weeks, I was signing papers and getting keys. I couldn't believe how fast everything happened. I was a homeowner. I had my own house with my own yard and no noisy neighbors sharing walls with me. I didn't tell my family anything about it. After that disaster at dinner, I decided they didn't deserve to know. I wasn't even going to invite them to my housewarming party. Why would I want people there who thought I didn't deserve my own home? Moving day was amazing. I hired movers for my stuff from the apartment, which wasn't much since the house came furnished. I spent the first week just walking around, touching everything. Still not believing it was really mine. I could sit in my backyard with my morning coffee and hear birds instead of traffic. At night it was so quiet I could actually sleep without earplugs. I had to go on another business trip right after I moved in. But when I got back 2 weeks later, I was ready to celebrate. I planned a housewarming party and invited everyone I actually wanted there. My work friends, some college buddies and a few cousins and aunts who had always been nice to me. The party was great. Everyone loved the house and kept telling me how proud they were of me for making this happen. We grilled burgers in the backyard, played music, and just had a really good time. I felt so happy and proud, showing off my new home to people who actually cared about me. Around 8 o'clock, right in the middle of the party, someone knocked on my front door. I wasn't expecting anyone else, so I went